Alright. Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, can you be too comfortable when you're working on cars? And I don't mean comfort-wise as in sitting in a lazy boy with your feet up comfortable. I'm talking about, do you do the proper safety things that you should, at least at a minimum? And, in my opinion, redundancy is a good thing. It's the whole 2 is 1, 1 is none, so to speak. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like that, like me. I got 4 jack stands underneath this thing, and I'm changing the oil on it. Mainly because these right here taught me a big lesson, and I'm talking about the stands that this car is on right here. And now I've had 2 lessons. First lesson, I was at a racetrack one day, watching a guy work on his car. He was in between races in a super big hurry because he needed to get back out, pulled up on the ramps, jumped underneath the car, and he was under there working on it, and I don't know what happened or why, but one side folded up. One of these right here, type of jack stand, or type of ramps, folded up on him. And I mean, we're talking race car, fairly light, but it folded up. Whether he pulled it up there wrong and didn't get it right where it should be on where it was supposed to be, or he pulled too far to the side, I don't know, but the thing folded up. He luckily was super quick, rolled out from underneath the car, and right as he got out from underneath, the other side folded up. So I have personally seen these with a fairly light car on them fold up, so I will never trust these type of ramps. And if you watch a lot of shows and a lot of things, sometimes they have jack stands underneath there, and a lot of times they don't. So you always use a jack stand. Don't ever rely on anything, even one jack stand under a car. Always have a couple at least under a car. If you're under the car, have a couple jack stands with you somewhere in a proper area, proper weight bearing for the car jack stands, because these do fold up. Second story. My son is fairly new. He's never been real interested in working on cars. He's getting a little bit more interested in coming out and helping me out a little bit. But I had him put these up underneath there before I went to drive up. And he was standing in front of the car. And I told him, you know, you should always stand to the side. You just never know what could happen. The car, I could come off the ramps and hit the gas on accident and drive right through the back wall. And if you're standing in front of it, you know, I'm going to drive through you. So I had him standing over here. As I pulled up on there, and he's supposed to tell me when I get to the top and kind of give me an idea when he thinks I should stop. You know, I'm trying to train him a bit, and so he listened to me, thank goodness, and stood over here as I drove up. And that one over there was not on right. He didn't put both of them the same. He didn't put them against the tire the same. Like I said, he's still fairly new and doesn't know you should put it. If you're ever using these kind of things, you shove them right against the tire, right against the tire. If you can, try and jam it up under there even a little bit. That'll keep it from wanting to pop forward. Because I've also seen these pop forward just going up. But because I was up pretty good on this one, but that one wasn't right, I went to back down, had him standing over here still, and that thing shot out and smacked over into this. Now I don't see any big dents or anything like that, and it probably wouldn't have killed him, but probably would have smarted something fierce. So, never trust these yet again, will I ever. The other big thing. Now, I normally come back here and put my chalk under this tire. Just because I'm usually on the driver's side, it just makes sense to me. Put my chalk there. Well, right now I got kitty litter and it's wet right here and kind of slippery. Well, you put a chalk on top of that stuff and good chances it's going to slide a little ways before it actually does its job. So, I started walking this way. And I thought of that moment of that jack stand falling down. Or not jack stand, the ramp falling down. So I immediately turned around. Because we are on ramps, even with the jack stands underneath it, if the transmission fails or the parking brake fails, which I also have the parking brake on, Highly recommend doing that if you're on this type of situation. But either of those things fail, this car is going to go backwards. And if you're behind it, you're going to get hurt. One of these falls, the whole car, you know, tips and something happens. So walk in front of the car when you are working on cars that are up on ramps. Don't ever go behind the car. And I put the chalk in the back on this tire because it's a little drier. You can't see it. There it is. Right there. And always, that's another thing, since we're talking about safety, you want the chalk in the middle of the tire and kick it forward and get it jammed up under there good. Make it hard to get out if you can. Those few things could literally save your life. So, you're welcome. Now, the only reason why I did this was because I had a couple of boo-boos and accidents just driving this up on these ramps. That's my cushion I use to get down on my old knees. Anyway, so I decided that, and I started out with just a couple jack stands in the back, and I like those little jack stands are pretty good. They work good if you're low on a car, but if you have to raise them up all the way, they're a little scary. That's why I have these bigger ones here. And redundancy yet again. So, but I did feel like I was, because I almost walked behind the car, and I even thought about it and still almost did it. I realized I'm getting too comfortable again working on cars. So I backed off. I thought about safety, and that brought up this video. So I know it's been a pretty long one. Hopefully I can cut it down a little bit. But safety is no joke. There is no safety third. Safety needs to come first. Alright, this is Sam, Jack of all and Master of none. You all have a good one.